Hello friends, welcome back to another information security episode. The first news of the day today is, do you identify what this is? It's a crushed aluminium can. Exactly, that's the news. An aluminium factory has been crushed to the core because of a ransomware attack on it. So Norsk Hydro, one of the largest aluminium producer, is hit with ransomware on Tuesday, and it has halted part of their production. So they transform aluminium ingots into car parts, and after this particular incident happened, immediately aluminium price surged in the London Metal Exchange for a 3-month high. And Norwegian National Security Authority has said that the virus strain is named as Locker Goga, right? And in the headquarters of this company, which is in Oslo, a note is kept for all employees which prevents them from logging into their computers. What a wonderful day, right? You need not log into your computer. Doesn't mean that you have to go and manually operate the machines, is what is being said. The next one is with respect to another ransomware called GeneXe, GeneXe.a. This starts to exploit the WinRAR ACE vulnerability, which I explained around 3 weeks ago. This vulnerability was discovered by Checkpoint. So once a particular attachment comes through, if a victim were to open the particular RAR file, it would show up an image of a woman which appears to be scrambled except for the face. Then you would think that probably it's a corrupted file, just close it off and walk away. But behind the scenes, what the malware has done is it has copied something called as googleupdate.exe, which is actually a ransomware which mimics a normal file name and placed that particular file in the startup folder. So when you reboot your machine, that's when the ransomware kicks into action and tries to encrypt. It encrypts your files and shows you a particular dialog box like this, which has a Gmail ID with jumbled characters of numbers and letters at gmail.com, and it asks you to create that particular Gmail account to receive your decryption key after you have paid this 0.05 bitcoins to the attacker, which amounts to about $200. So the malware analyst who analyzed this particular sample said that even with the decryption key, even the developer themselves couldn't decrypt the particular file because there is a flaw or a bug in the way in which the encryption is done. So that's what this particular link claims. The next news is with respect to a NetWire phishing campaign, which uses a technique called process hollowing. How this particular malware comes about into being is users would get a cloud-based document link or something which is hosted either in Google Cloud or something like that, which bypasses your firewall directly because it's over HTTPS connection. So when you try opening that, it would have a VBS script embedded in it. Your browser would show a warning, but most of the people do not heed the warning. They just click on OK and run the obfuscated VBS script, which invokes a PowerShell script. The PowerShell script tries to load a remote .NET file directly into the memory. So the memory space where it's trying to upload the remote .NET assembly code is into a benign Microsoft process which is in suspended state. So this bypasses the whitelisting of application part. So even though you have whitelisted certain applications, the malicious software, the PowerShell, could invoke the whitelisted application, suspend its state, then try to hollow the process of that particular benign application, load malicious code into the memory space, then resume the execution of the particular application, thereby bypassing your whitelisting altogether. So when they tried analyzing the NetWire backdoor, they found that it has capabilities such as keylogger, reverse shell, and password theft as well. So it's highly advised that if you are impacted by this, you have to change your password. So the next news is with respect to HomeKit. Home DNA Kit has come under scanner when they sent out an email saying that users could opt out of their data being shared with FBI. So if users were signed in before 19th of March or something, their users their data would be automatically opted out of being shared with the FBI. But if you are trying to enroll after 19th of March, then you have to manually go and change your setting. So what this particular firm does is they give you a small vial where you need to just spit in your saliva, send it out to them. They will try to run your DNA. They will try to like blow out your DNA, try to see if you are susceptible to certain diseases, and it also tries to map out which region of the world is your ancestors from. When a huge database of this DNA data is available, law enforcement agency, if they find a particular deceased person, if they try to take a DNA and try to compare it against this huge volume of DNA data which is already present, they can possibly narrow it down to some distant cousin or somebody like that. So which helps them to narrow down to the victim's relative. In other cases, this particular database helped the law enforcement agency to track down a violent criminal who happened to have done around like 50 rapes in the past, around like 4 murders or something. The only evidence which was available with the FBI was the DNA samples of the attacker. They took the DNA, tried matching it against the huge DNA pool which is available with family tree DNA, HomeKit DNA, and they were able to find the 3rd or 4th cousin via which they were able to track the perpetrator and get him behind bars. Some users felt that it's a intrusion on their privacy. Around 85% of the people said that if this data is going to be used to track serial killers and rapists, they are okay with sharing their data. So that's explained in this particular link. The next story of the day is with respect to discovering IPv6 via UPnP, which is left exposed on the internet. So we have seen mass scans and other scanners which can scan the entire IPv4 range in a short period of time and come out with a report as to which is open where. But if you take IPv6, the amount of address space there is like every inch of the globe can be covered in its own IPv4 stack. So that's how huge IPv6 is, and it's practically and theoretically impossible to scan such a huge address space. So what they try to do is they try to send a UPnP request to all IPv4 addresses with the location of IPv6. So when these devices see an IPv6 location, if they have an IPv6 address embedded in them, then they try to reach out to the IPv6 address using their system's own IPv6 address. Thereby the researchers know that there is an IPv6 system out there on the internet. So the researchers also found that the UPnP devices are unnecessarily opened out to the internet, and the UPnP devices are running old and outdated version, which is a serious flaw. And they also found that there are certain security settings which are set up appropriately for IPv4 addresses, whereas IPv6 is a large gaping hole, is what the Talos intelligence people have found. The next news is with respect to Europol. They have a new protocol set up for cross-border cyber attacks, and this law would be applicable only for malicious and suspected criminal nature. Falls in this particular scope of protocol, whereas it will not cover incidents or crisis raised by natural disaster or man-made errors or system failures. So if there is a DNS flaw which is being exploited, which prevents the DNS from handing out IP address for domain name, then Europol would pitch into picture in the European Union data space, in the European Union space. So last news for the day is with respect to the education and scientific tech, not tech giant, it's giant Elsevier has left their database of users and passwords exposed online. So this was due to a misconfigured server is what is being reported in this particular link, and most of the users have an email address which ends with .edu, which suggests that most of the users who are impacted belong to either a researcher or from an academic background. So, and Elsevier is trying to reach out to users, affected users, and to ask them to reset their passwords. With this, we come to the end of today's security episode. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Bye bye.